currently 2 points out of a wild card spot. In the NFL, the defending Super Bowl champion Philadelphia Eagles lost in the first round of the playoffs as the San Francisco 49ers won 23-19. Star tight end George Kittle tore his Achilles and will miss the remainder of the playoffs. After the Chicago Bears advanced to the next round, after a second-round comeback, the lingering rumors with Matt LaFleur being a head coach of another franchise have been put on hold as the Packers are now expected to try and work out a deal in the coming days to keep head coach Matt LaFleur in Green Bay. In baseball, Alex Bregman is headed to the NL Central. The veteran third baseman and the Chicago Cubs have inked a 5-year, $175 million contract. Make sure to tune in for the Combo Hour this evening, starting at 6, right here on the Game Nashville Sports Network.
For more, log on to thegamenashville.com. Your sports live here on the Game Nashville Sports Network.
Your sports live here. WBUZ HD3 Laverne. All around the world on the Game Nashville app. We are the Game Nashville Sports Network, ESPN 94.9, The Fan, a Cromwell media station.
30 years of the best sports talk in Middle Tennessee. It's the George Plaster Show, featuring Tennessee Sports Hall of Famers Kelly Holcomb and young gun Billy Derrick. And now, here's your host, George Plaster.
Hello again, everybody. Welcome in. It's a beautiful Monday. Let's just see what the temperature is, because as soon as I say that, it is 48 degrees, and given that it's the middle of January, it could be a whole lot worse. Again tonight, we are at Sports and Social in Green Hills Mall. The last of the NFL wildcard games is tonight. And not only does it figure to be cold, it figures to be an absolute head knocker. Houston Texans, with probably the NFL's best front seven on defense, against the Pittsburgh Steelers. In Pittsburgh, Mike Tomlin may be fighting for his job. I hope that's not the case. And Aaron Rodgers may be playing his last NFL game, although I don't deep down believe that. I think he's going to come back next year. I think he's enjoyed Pittsburgh way more than Jets, Jets. Let's start in Murfreesboro and say hello to former NFL quarterback Kelly Holcomb. Kelly, how are you?
I'm great, George. How you doing?
I'm good. Do you agree with me on that Aaron Rodgers may be coming back for another year in Pittsburgh?
I absolutely do. I think for some reason, man, him and Mike Tomlin have hit it off. I don't know why. And I think it all has to do with what Mike Tomlin does, though. If they keep because I think he's got to win tonight. I really do. I think Mike Tomlin, I think the natives are getting restless in Pittsburgh. I think the front office is getting kind of restless about it because it's been a while. They're known for not only getting to the playoffs, but going and winning Super Bowls. And they're not used to what's happening now. And he has not won a playoff game in a long time. And they're wanting to get out of this wild card weekend. And I think if he goes out and they get beat tonight, I think Mike Tomlin's in trouble, and I think if that happens, I think Aaron Rodgers hangs it up.
Yeah, and all of a sudden, the whole coaching search, the who's out there, who's available, goes absolutely haywire.
Yeah.
Obviously, we're going to spend a lot of the first hour, the 3 o'clock hour, on the NFL playoffs. Did you get a chance to watch a bunch of it?
Absolutely. I did watch a bunch of it. You got that was the most exciting wild card weekend I think has been that I've ever seen. Every game that came down to it, I knew Chicago was going to come back. Whether you like Caleb Williams or not, man, the guy can play. He's athletic. That play he made on fourth down was one of the most unbelievable throws I've ever seen, going to his left and throwing it on the run and being accurate like he was. And then, with what the 49ers did against the Eagles yesterday, the 49ers are so depleted. I don't even see how they're in the game.
Oh, it's crazy.
Yeah, and they lose George Kittle to a torn Achilles now. And they don't have any linebackers, yet they did what they did to the Philadelphia Eagles. So it was an interesting weekend this weekend.
Okay, we're going to get to all that after we deal with the update. Parker Kelly is alongside here at Sports and Social. Parker, how are you?
I'm all right, George. Today is day one of a fast that I'm doing for my church. I'm a little foggy brained right now.
Is that so?
I will push through as good soldiers do, though.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Should have fasted during the Oregon game. They sucked.
I have one thing to say regarding that. It was a tough weekend because I was very excited to watch that game on Friday night. I sat down on my couch and one play into the game, a pick six, and then next thing I know, Oregon's taking a sledgehammer to the face. Then I turn on Tennessee the next day and watch them play Florida. They take a sledgehammer to the face. So my one request is that you guys feel sorry for me because I don't deserve that.
Yeah.
We don't. Well, we don't.
There was this sent to Parker on Friday night. Just in capital letters. Oops. And then Parker, I don't deserve this.
I don't.
And then me,
I don't.
Absolutely, you do.
I've showed up to work every day, been a good Samaritan, and next thing I know is one of the teams I support just getting decapitated on national television.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess we should carry on with the update. That's the only thing left for me to do now that that's out of the way.
Okay.
Kelly, what are you doing?
I'm waving at my grandson. Is that okay with you?
Yeah, that's perfectly fine.
Okay,
Tell
thanks,
him I said
Parker.
hello as well.
Yeah.
Okay, so the national championship is set between Indiana and Miami, as George kindly pointed out. The NFL Wildcard was absolutely incredible. It started with a Rams win over the Panthers first game. It was very exciting in Charlotte. The Bears scored 25 points in the fourth quarter to beat the Packers on Saturday night. Bills defeat the Jags. What else am I forgetting? The Chargers last night fall to the Patriots and the Eagles.
Nice
The
offense.
defending champs come up short against the San Francisco 49ers.
And we will certainly discuss all of these issues beginning at 3:20.
It was a great day for the city of Chicago, though. The Bears won. The Cubs signed Alex Bregman. The Blackhawks beat the Preds 3-0. And then the Bulls won as well. So shout out the city of Chicago.
So
There you go.
The Bregman signing is a huge one.
Yeah.
Because it's not just necessarily what he brings on the field. Off the field, Alex Bregman is an absolute clubhouse star. He will make that franchise better. Get ready on the Cubs.
All right.
And shame on
That's
the
what I
Red
love to hear.
Sox. Bunch of cheapskates. I say that. I mean, it's not like 5 years, $165 million is chump change. But they needed to look really close at the level of what he did for their clubhouse a year ago. Boston will regret this. The Cubs will not.
Oh, that's what I love to hear. The Green Bay Packers are working on an extension for Matt LaFleur because there was talk that if he lost the game, which he did, that he would get fired. And they're looking around to keep him because his contract, I believe, expires after this season.
Kelly, I got a little theory going
Tell
here.
me.
I think they're going to give him an offer that they hope he refuses.
You think so?
Yep. I think they're going to try to lowball him where he
Try to get him out. Yeah.
Try to get him out, and then guess who they might go after?
Who is that?
Mr. Harbaugh. Here's the deal.
Oh.
Think about this. Let me see if I got this right. Did I hear this correctly? I think I did. That John Harbaugh's agent has the last name of Harlan. Okay, the Harlan family is synonymous with Green Bay Packers. The father was the president of the team for years. One of the sons, Kevin Harlan, great play-by-play voice.
He's awesome.
Yes.
And a brother is a sports agent who just happens to represent John Harbaugh. Therefore, I will say on the front end, do not be surprised if the Packers try to lowball Matt LaFleur in hopes that he will say, I'm not staying.
I can
Just
definitely
remember
see that, George. I mean, that's part of the business, and I can definitely see that where they're acting like they're trying to keep him, but
they're not.
that's just part of it. I mean, and he I don't know. It just seems like he's kind of fallen out of favor up there. They're not, they've been known even when Aaron Rodgers was there doing the Superman thing or he always run. He just ran the Chicago Bears. They never got beat by those guys. And now Ben Johnson has brought a new attitude to the Chicago Bears, and they've got a quarterback that's really good. And I can see that happening, George. I really can. I can see Harbaugh going there, no doubt.
Did anybody notice the handshake?
I did. Everybody did, I think.
Did you hear the post-game speech?
I didn't hear that.
No. You might clean it up and paraphrase.
Fudge the Packers is what he said.
Really? There does seem to be bad blood there, but
It's a
for
rivalry
those
game.
who did not see the handshake, it is the dictionary definition of a drive-by.
That's right. It was.
It was absolutely hilarious. By the way, Matt LaFleur's brother, Mike, who is the offensive coordinator of the Rams, going to be interviewed by a couple of teams. Let me say this. When you're the offensive coordinator of the Rams, big friggin' deal. McVay is the man.
Their pass game coordinators getting interviews for a head coaching job.
Well,
Isn't it amazing, though, guys, that the three of the best teams in the NFC are from the NFC West? That's unbelievable.
Yep. So the Tennessee Titans are either have completed an interview, have scheduled or requested an interview with 15 candidates. Raheem Morris is the coach being interviewed today.
and in fairness, Raheem Morris, you could have made an argument, should have gotten another year in Atlanta.
Couldn't have made that argument.
Yeah, you could have. I just don't like it. Like he was. Yeah, he was the head coach at the Bucks, and now he's been the head coach at Atlanta. And then we talked about you got to have a stable position at quarterback. Is Michael Penix gonna, is he gonna pan out or what? Maybe he deserved another year. I'm not sure. I know they got a lot of talent on that team. And I think it was. I'm like you. I actually talked to David Culley this past weekend, George. You know David.
Oh yeah.
And I really didn't like what happened to David when he was in Houston, but he's not worried about it because he got paid, and he's still living in Houston. But he was like, "Hey, NFL teams are going to do what they're going to do," and that's kind of what I feel about Raheem Morris. I don't feel like he got the fair end of the deal on that, but NFL owners don't care.
List.
Yeah, exactly.
We have an update on John Harbaugh. The Falcons announced that they interviewed him, but I've been told that Harbaugh was more so interviewing them. He's had phone calls with the Giants, Titans, Browns, Raiders, and Cardinals, and he's trying to determine who he wants to meet with later on in the week.
A lot of this going on. Hello?
Lots.
Oh, yes. Yes, this is John.
And you know what? I'm not interested in your job. Thank you, though.
Thank you for calling. Just deposit your money over here.
We have some transfer portal news. Dylan Raiola has committed to the University of Oregon. So
overrated.
George, are you just a hater of the green machine? Is that what it is?
No, but I do believe that Dylan Raiola, for all of the pomp and circumstance, is overrated. In his first year, I thought he was badly out of shape. He can't move a lick. And I'm not a big fan.
I hate to agree with George on this, but I never thought when he was at Nebraska, I never thought he was that guy. I really didn't. And he got hurt. I don't think he's Dante Moore, that's for sure.
Dante Moore may come back to school. So if that were the case, Pete Thamel put out that Raiola would be the backup and then take over in 27. So we'll have to see.
Well, I don't think that would work.
That's what Dante Moore did. Dante Moore,
right? But I don't see Raiola as being cool with that.
type of guy. Yeah, that type of guy.
We'll have to see what happens there. Sam Levitt I think he verbally committed to LSU, but then I just saw a report saying that Tennessee's still in on this. So it seems like it's between Tennessee and LSU, but from the looks of it, looks like LSU's the front runner.
Well, now what source said that Tennessee's still in it? Rocky Top today.
Tony Basilio.
Vol report. I'll find it. Ty Simpson.
Big Orange today.
Ty Simpson has declared for the NFL draft. He has, if he wants to come back to school, he has until Wednesday to announce that he's returning. Now, remember, this has happened with a couple of quarterbacks. Cam Ward, Carson Beck, they all declared, but then decided they were going to come back to school. Reportedly, the number is out there that if he were to come back to school, $6.5 million would be the number.
Well, that's supposedly what Miami offered him.
Mm-hmm.
So
really, so it's not coming back to school to Alabama though. Is that correct?
Doesn't sound like it.
Oh, here we go. On three was the one that I saw that from. So
gotcha.
It's very, very good, very reliable source there. Kelly,
Brooks, not that I think you cared.
Brooks,
I think if anybody would have put that out there, you'd great.
Oh, fantastic! Brooks Koepka's returning to the PGA Tour. Kelly.
I was wondering if that was going to happen. Now he's setting a precedence where they've allowed him back in. Now are all these other guys going to start doing the same thing? Because from what I hear, right?
Oh,
does he?
Financial penalty if you come back.
Well, he's got it. Believe me, you don't got to worry about that. He can pay it. But what's going to happen is all these guys, because I hear from people around the way that those guys that are on the Live Tour absolutely hate that garbage, but it's setting a precedence now. Are they going to be able to come back?
One more thing. Congratulations to Vanderbilt. Their women's team is number 5 in the country. Their men's team is number 10 in the country, and they're a combined 33-0.
Good Lord.
George, I don't know if there's a close second in the SEC.
This is a sign of a Sports Illustrated apocalypse.
I don't know if there's a close second.
The one thing that I don't get, so you've got a basketball team that's in the top 10 on the men's side, won 16 in a row. Why isn't Memorial Gym close to sold out? Why is half of the third deck in the end zone empty? To me,
George,
that's not a good sign.
George, I asked this question to Tony Basilio a couple of years ago, but this seems like a golden era for the University of Vanderbilt right now with what their football team's done.
Sure.
Obviously, Tim Corbin has done what he's done, and now you got the basketball teams doing what they're doing. I mean, this is exciting time for the Commodores.
It's beyond anybody's wildest imagination that this could have happened, but it has, and I'm a little surprised that the Nashville market has been a little slow to figure this out.
Right,
but
I agree.
I've been to the last 2 games, and the third decks in the end zone been about half empty.
There were a lot of Alabama fans when I went on Wednesday night.
Yeah.
So
I'm not sure. I'm not sure what's going on, Parker. I just sent you a picture of it.
Is this Saturday or Wednesday when you went?
This would be from Saturday against LSU, but in truth, the upper deck in the end zone looked exactly the same last Wednesday night, and I guess. For me, one of the things I don't get is why aren't they telling anybody ahead of time, hey, we got 2,500 seats left. Come on.
Oh, my gosh. Wow. Yeah, that is pretty empty.
Yeah.
Feel
free to show it. I mean,
I'm going to need time.
Yeah, I'm sure you are. Are you done?
I'm done.
Kelly, he's done.
Shocking.
Okay, after the break.
Careful, Kelly. I'm a little angry right now. I haven't eaten food in about 6 hours, and I walked in and I smelled wings, and I felt like the vampires in Twilight when they smell blood.
Parker, nobody cares. Move on.
All right. We're good to go to break.
Great. This is the George Plaster Show.
When I got my first car, my dad told me, keep the gas tank full and my number on speed dial. Now parents are telling their kids, save 615-242-9000 just in case. I'm Blair Durham. If you or someone you love is in a wreck, call us. We're here to get you the money you deserve.
It's easy to say good things about the folks at Strike and Spare Family Fun Centers. Number one, I trust them with something that's near and dear to me, the Plaster and Friends Celebrity Bowling Night. But more importantly, I see the fun people have. They enjoy the bowling, they enjoy the camaraderie, and you will too. Come by any of their locations and get ready to have some fun.
At Wilson Bank and Trust, we believe you shouldn't have to choose between personal service and digital solutions. As your local independent bank, we're proud to offer the relationships and trusted service you expect, along with the tools and technology that keep you moving forward. So whether you're growing a business, buying a home, or planning for the future, we're here to help. Because this isn't just where we work, it's where we live too. Wilson Bank and Trust, here to get you there. Member FDIC.
Are you looking for expert medical care in Nashville without leaving your home? Medical House Calls brings concierge-level health care directly to your door. Whether you need urgent attention, ongoing primary care, revitalizing IV therapy, or medically guided weight loss, our experienced providers are just a phone call away at 615-838-2375 or go online, medicalhousecalls.com. If you are paying too much for your health insurance, you know what? You need to contact the folks at Pancoast Benefits. Pancoast works with businesses and individuals to tackle the high cost of health insurance. Whether you're a business owner, large or small, self-employed, between jobs, or over the age of 65 and in need of a Medicare plan, Pancoast can help. They make understanding your benefits less difficult and more personal. So check them out today, pancoastbenefits.com, or call them at 615-292-3400. 15-838-2375 or go online, medicalhousecalls.com.
ESPN Radio lives here. Your sports live here on ESPN 94.9 The Fan.
Wow. Well, that's not necessarily where we're going to start as we welcome all of you back on this beautiful Monday afternoon from Sports and Social in Green Hills Mall. We will have a new champion this year in the National Football League because Philadelphia did not get it done. Think about this. 2 seasons ago, massive discontent, and the team imploded. Lost a bunch of games in a row at the end, didn't get along, and end of story. Last year, it appears that they were able to put all of their issues, all of the dramas aside to the common good, and when they did, they won the Super Bowl and won it handily. This year, you've been hearing for weeks chatter about a bunch of things. Offensive coordinator, no imagination. Jalen Hurts suddenly can't throw. A.J. Brown causing all kinds of little drama. Kelly, I don't pretend to know what's going on in Philly, but something feels rotten in that clubhouse.
I feel like you're watching something rotten. Yesterday, like AJ Brown, I think him and Nick Sirianni got into it on the sideline at some point in the game. I just think he's that guy. We've all seen him here. He was here. He's an unbelievably talented guy. But yesterday, he gets to run in his mouth. He wants the ball. He makes some really good plays. Then he drops passes. He dropped a huge pass on that last drive. And you can't, like, if you're going to be that guy and you're going to talk how you talk and you're going to, you're going to be a guy that is always wanting the ball, and you've got to make those plays. And he has made those plays before, but yesterday he did not. And I feel as though like Devontae Smith is one of those young men who, he was an Alabama guy, won the Heisman Trophy. He's not a very big guy, but he's a good football player, and I think he's a good kid. But I think when A.J. Brown starts going on and he starts being all upset and he starts getting in Jalen Hurts here, and then Jalen Hurts tries to get him the ball and then he leaves Devontae Smith out, I think Devontae Smith is like, okay, well, he's doing that, and the noisy wheel is getting all the attention and is getting all the grease, and I want some of that. So then he starts acting up, and then they had Lane Johnson out yesterday for some
Big
reason.
loss.
I don't know. Yeah, it's a huge loss, but like they're a running team. Saquon looked good at times yesterday. He got injured, I know, a little bit into the game, but I just don't know. It seems like there's something amiss there, George. And I told you this earlier in the season. I felt like that. This is the way guys think nowadays. They all won the Super Bowl last year. Everybody's happy. Everybody's good. Now, after they got their ring, everybody's wanting to get paid. They want more, and more, and it just doesn't work like that. And I don't think Jalen Hurts is a leader like that. Like, Jalen Hurts is a calm, I don't think he's a confrontational guy, and I think sometimes the coach wants him to be more than he truly is. I think he's a silent leader. I think he leads by example. I don't think that rubs him. I don't think that rubs the coach the right way. That's just my opinion now. But Jalen Hurts is not the guy where, it was like me or like Peyton that'll get up into your grill. Maybe he's like that behind closed doors. He's just not that guy, but it just wasn't there this year for some reason, and they got it all together last year. They didn't get it together this year, and I just think there's guys in that locker room, starting with A.J. Brown, that kind of mess things up.
I think there's two ways you can look at this. The first being the Eagles have an embarrassment of riches, which can sometimes backfire. And two, Kevin Patullo has not done a good job of spreading the wealth, because when you do have that, you have Saquon Barkley, who rushed for 2,000 yards last year. You have A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith, Dallas Goedert, and you still have the same issues on offense throughout the year. He just didn't do a good job. But speaking to the A.J. Brown situation, at first it may have not started out a distraction, but when Jalen Hurts and Saquon and Devontae Smith repeatedly keep getting asked in press conferences, have you talked to A.J. Brown? Have you talked to A.J. Brown? At some point, it does become a distraction. And what happened on the sidelines yesterday with Nick Sirianni, I think that was his last game as an Eagle. Would not be surprised to see him end up in New England next year with Vrabel.
Oh, wow.
That's
Could
an
be.
interesting deal. Okay.
Yeah.
Would we all agree there will be an offensive coordinator change in Philly? Patullo will end up being the scapegoat.
There's always, I've told you all this before, when a guy starts getting heat on him, when a head coach starts getting heat on him, which I don't know if Sirianni's getting any heat on him because he's won a lot of games there. That was the first time he's lost a playoff game at home as the Eagles head coach. But when that happens, things got to happen before the head coach goes. And yes, I would say that he's going to make a move, no doubt.
Yeah, I would say so. I mean, think about 2 years ago, they had Brian Johnson, I believe was his name, and one season as the offensive coordinator, same issues as what's going on this year. They fired him. Then they got Kellen Moore. I feel bad for Jalen Hurts because if they get a new offensive coordinator, this would be his 10th OC since his college days at Alabama.
So he clearly, can go with the flow. He can adapt and he can change. And we know it's a fact. You can win a Super Bowl with Jalen Hurts.
You got to do it differently, though. I mean, it's, my son and myself were watching the game, and I can't necessarily say that I like Jalen Hurts' game because I didn't have that game. Like, he's a runner. He's gotten himself better throwing the ball from the pocket, but he's gone to the perfect situation with Nick Sirianni, just like Lamar Jackson when he went with John Harbaugh and those guys drafted him in the Baltimore Ravens. They kind of curtailed the offense around him. They've kind of done the same thing with Jalen Hurts, but they've got to be in front of the chains. They've got to be able to run the ball. He's got to be able to run the ball, and they've got to stay ahead of the chains. And when you get backed up like that and he has to actually throw the ball, he's gotten better. He's gotten more accurate, but that's just not his game. And I can see them, they got to figure something out, the coordinator job, obviously, and get somebody in here that understands that and knows that.
Kelly, I'm so torn on Jalen Hurts because I watch him play, and I think he's good. I think he's a fine NFL quarterback. I know that he wins everywhere he goes, whether that be Alabama or Oklahoma. He's won a Super Bowl MVP, but I have no idea what to make of it, really. I mean, because wins technically are not a quarterback stat. They get associated with wins, but when I watch him play, I think, okay, he's good, but, can he put the team on his back like Josh Allen did with the Bills yesterday?
There's always that but. There's always that but with him. And the thing that bothers me, even when he was at Alabama, is when, he doesn't have anything and then he starts scrambling to the right, scrambling to the right, scrambling to the right. That wears me out, but that's his game. That's kind of his game. And if you're willing to put up with it as a coach, and he's won a Super Bowl, he's absolutely won a Super Bowl, but on a team that he is going to be the quarterback of, it's got to be a heavily run offense, and he's got to mix some play action passes in there, and you can't put him in situations where he has to throw the ball and he's going to throw the ball.
Okay, let me ask you all this, because the talking heads nationally have come with this today, that Philly ran, as we know, they take over, 75 yards away from winning. About 2.5, 2:45 left on the clock.
Right.
And they convert a fourth down to get a new series of downs. And the talking heads are saying that Philly ran the exact same pass pattern on 3 of those 4 plays. And I'm like, okay, first of all, if you're that stupid as an offensive coordinator to not think at the National Football League they can figure that out, shame on you. But Sirianni's got a headset. Why is he allowing that?
Well, George, I'm gonna say this. Everybody remembers when the New England Patriots played the Atlanta Falcons and they were down 28-3 and they came back.
Right.
Do you know in the second half they ran the same pass concept 16 times in a row? I mean, I had a guy that was one of my coaches that did a study on that, and we used to run. It's all about making plays. It's all about who you're supposed to read. If you read the right, it doesn't matter if you're calling the same stuff. Now, running wise, absolutely, but like you can put, like, we used to have, like, get in a 2x2 concept, and you have like a smash route, which means number 1 runs a hitch and number 2 runs a corner, or you run a curl flat, or you run different concepts, right. And then you got the same concept backside, and it can't be covered if you run it right and you're reading the right people. Stuff like that can't be covered. So I don't know. A.J. Brown, if he catches that ball, they've got another first down. And the drive keeps going, so that's kind of mute. But I will say this, at the end of the game and on the 4th down play, you saw who Jalen Hurts really felt confident in, and that was Dallas Goedert, because Dallas Goedert had 3 dudes around him, and he still tried to fit that. Now, he didn't see the guy coming from the backside, but you can tell when it got down to we have to have a play, he didn't think about Devontae Smith. He didn't think about A.J. Brown. He thought about Dallas Goedert, and that's who he was looking for. And, football is a simple game, but it's not that simple sometimes. It's a simple game, but it's hard, in itself. And when you get into situations like that, you've got to go over that stuff in practice, and you've got to be honed up on stuff like that, about 2-minute situations. And if A.J. Brown catches the ball, they're still going. So we don't know what's going to happen.
Yeah, and tight ends are they're our safety blanket, Kelly. I know,
no doubt.
In college, it's that stuff happens where you do run the same stuff, but it can just be out of different formations. So you're not able to tell pre-snap what I'm about to run. I know we would literally run the same plays. Just it could be out of 3-by-1, it could be out of 2-by-2, or 4 wide receivers to this side. So we can run it out of all different formations. It's just eventually the defense can start picking up on it.
Okay, let me ask this one to close out the Philly stuff. Would you be totally shocked if Philly decided to make a coaching change?
I wouldn't be. There's nothing in the NFL that shocks me, George. Like we talked about Mike Tomlin. Mike Tomlin's never had a losing season since he's been the Pittsburgh Steelers head coach. And if he don't win the playoff game tonight, he may be out as a Pittsburgh Steelers head coach. So nothing surprises me. It would not surprise me if Philadelphia got rid of Nick Sirianni. That wouldn't surprise me because all they got to do is say, well, you can't control the locker room anymore. People have lost, and I don't know if that's the case, but it just seems like
from the outside looking in, it feels like something, some of that.
There's something going on that nobody can put their can pinpoint. And I know they've had some injuries, and I know Lane Johnson was a huge deal because they've been known for their offensive line and for them being consistently being able to stay healthy and being together. And they had obviously Jason Kelsey there, who was kind of, he was the leader of that group. But when you lose a guy like Lane Johnson, he's been out for a long time, and you have to play another guy. Like, that's tough. You're paying him all that money, and he's a huge spoke in that wheel. So nothing would surprise me, George, and it would not definitely surprise me if they fired him. I don't think they will, but it wouldn't surprise me.
I mean, if I were them, I wouldn't, just because he won a Super Bowl last year. And
and that's the conventional wisdom. But is there a Howie Roseman sitting back going, there's way too much conflict that isn't getting settled?
And the Eagles have such an unreasonable fan base, so I guess I'm with Kelly. I would not be surprised if it happens, even if I don't agree with it. But my question is, the Steelers have one of the highest standards in the NFL, and they have been first-round exits the last 6 tries. So and Philadelphia's coming off a Super Bowl win. So and they haven't moved, and the Steelers haven't moved off of Mike Tomlin. So why would the Eagles move off of Sirianni?
Well, because the answer is that the Steeler ownership couldn't care less what Philadelphia is doing. The Pittsburgh ownership would say, we're going to handle the Steelers. How everybody else conducts their business is their business.
But what I'm saying is their standard is Super Bowls, and they have not met that standard in a while.
No, they
have not. And that's the good thing that I love about the Pittsburgh Steelers too, because you get the Mike Mayocks and you get the Mel Kipers, and they talk about the Pittsburgh Steelers do not care what those people say about the draft. They're always going to find guys, even in the late rounds. They're unbelievable in the draft of picking guys that fit their system, and that's what I've always loved about the Pittsburgh Steelers. I don't really love them. I absolutely hate them. I can't stand them. I couldn't stand playing them. I don't like them to this day. But they're really consistent, and that's why they've won the most Super Bowls of any organization.
Okay, we'll go to the break, and then we'll talk more about Wildcard Weekend, because it was truly wild. This is the George Plaster Show.
When I got my first car, my dad told me, keep the gas tank full and my number on speed dial. Now parents are telling their kids, save 615-242-9000 just in case. I'm Blair Durham. If you or someone you love is in a wreck, call us. We're here to get you the money you deserve.
Smashville hockey. Around here, it can sound like a language of its own. But hey, if you can pronounce Demumbrian, then names like Yossi, Shea, Marchessault will roll right off the tongue. Nashville Predators, only in Smashville.
Sports and Social at Green Hills Mall is the new home for our Football Night in Nashville promotion. Their food is terrific. Their TV setup looks like a racing sports book in Vegas. And if you're a sports fan, you can't beat it. Starting September the 4th, we'll broadcast from Sports and Social every Thursday night. There's Pop-A-Shot, great football, and the chance to win a beautiful Mikey's Motors golf cart. See you at Sports and Social in Green Hills Mall.
Here's Officer Garen Hoskins for the Metro Nashville. Here's Officer Garen Hoskins for the Metro Nashville Police Department.
The Metro Nashville Police Department is on the forefront of policing in this century, and I'm glad I'm a part of it. I'm glad I get to find other good officers, other future good officers. And if you're watching today, or you yourself or someone you happen to know is interested, join MNPD.com. Feel free to reach out to us because we need good officers, and it's a great city to work for.
You've heard me talk about the putting zone. Well, guess what? It's now open, and it offers a revolutionary indoor golf experience featuring state-of-the-art putting surfaces designed to replicate real-world course conditions. It allows players of all skill levels to practice, compete in tournaments, and connect year-round. Go by and see them at 3040 Sidco Drive and tell them Plaz sent you.
Advertising family, it's simple. Just email me, plastergeorge@gmail.com. Again, plastergeorge@gmail.com. We will fit your budget and your needs.
It's the George Plaster Show.
Your sports live here on 94.9 The Fan.
We are at Sports and Social in Green Hills this afternoon. It's turned out to be a beautiful Monday here in the dead of winter. Big NFL playoff game tonight. Pittsburgh at home against a really good Houston Texans defense. 7:15-ish. If you're in the area, want to see a good football game, come on out. We're going to have a lot of fun. Okay, Kelly, I want you to play Vegas. Buffalo at Denver. What's the number?
I think it's 3 points. I think it's Denver 3.
Denver 3-point favorite. Okay,
Yeah.
I think anybody on first blush, that would be the answer. Why is Buffalo a 1-point favorite? What does Vegas know that we don't, other than it's them saying, man, we got a lot of confidence in Josh Allen?
That's kind of what it is. Like yesterday, I felt like he was going to have to put his Superman cape on, and he kind of did. Like they rely on him so much, man, and he comes through for them so many times. I don't think they've got the defense to win it, but like he can. This would be one of these years that, you know, when they went up against Kansas City those couple of times, that thriller that they had a couple of years ago where, you know, they were scoring in 13 seconds. They were going length of the field. It was kind of crazy. This could be one of those years where nobody's expecting much from the Bills because of the defense, and then they end up making a run at this thing, which I hope. Obviously, one of my former teams, I hope that's the case. I don't know if they can. Like, Denver's defense is really good, and they can rush the passer. I think they can contain him. I'm not sure that Buffalo's defense can stop Bo Nix in the offense of the Denver Broncos. I'm not sure of that. I think Sean Payton's really good at putting him in situations to be successful. Now, I will say this. They've got a lot of playoff experience, and I think that's probably why you're seeing the line the way it is. They've got a lot of playoff experience, and I know it's at home in Mile High, which is a little bit different. I played there. And everybody talks about the elevation, which there has something to do with it. But you've got Bo Nix. I think they went to the playoffs last year, but they're the number 1 seed this year, and that brings on some new pressures, some new expectations. And these fans in Denver are obviously thinking that they've got a shot to win this whole thing. They've got the defense to win this whole thing, but you've got an experienced Josh Allen who's been there, he's done that, and he's Superman, and maybe that's the reason why. I don't know if it can happen, but I hope that the Bills can get it done. I really do.
I saw that spread today, and I was a little confused because, we're talking about the 1 seed in the AFC going up against the 6 seed. And I know Buffalo may not be your typical 6 seed, but when all else is even, I was kind of looking at, the experience of these quarterbacks. Yes, Bo Nix has played 1 game, and they had the bye this year. Josh Allen put on the Superman cape yesterday, which we all know he's capable of doing. I'm just nervous about everything else around him, because knowing that Denver defense, they're going to throw a lot of different things at him. That's probably, I'd say them and Houston probably have the best defenses in the league. So when I saw that spread, I was very confused because I know what that defense is going to throw at him.
Although Buffalo will move the football.
Oh,
they will.
Yeah, they're going to move the football, and they can run the football. The Cook kid can run the football, and he's got weapons at his disposal. There's no question. He's got those tight ends. He's got the Shakir kid. He's got guys that can. Gabe Davis. He's got guys that can play, that have been there, that have been in the system. They're going to move the ball. They're going to score points. Hopefully, I'm hoping that they can. I just don't see them doing it because of their defense. But I didn't think that San Francisco could do what they did against Philadelphia Eagle with all the limitations they have on defense. They have 3 new linebackers playing for those guys that were like the 5th, 6th, and 7th string. So it's kind of amazing
job by Shanahan this year.
Fantastic. And he always does. I mean, he's been to the Super Bowl twice, and he always does. Like those guys, he knows what he's doing coaching, and they've been depleted, his whole roster. He lost Brock Purdy. He's lost George Kittle. He's had guys out. It's amazing what he's done.
So I got to see 2 weeks ago Seattle at San Francisco. And Seattle absolutely rammed one up San Fran's you-know-what. I mean, it was a beating. And San Francisco's defense is the only thing that kept that from being about 30-3. So Shanahan's got 5 days, basically, to show Seattle something way different that forces cause for pause. What does he show them?
Well, first of all, they've got to be able to protect Brock Purdy. They could not do that. He had no time to throw the ball against Seattle, and Mike McDonald, obviously being on the defensive side of the ball, being the head coach, he understands how to pressure people, and he's got guys on that Seattle team that does. Maybe you're going to have to keep a tight end in and chip off the edge, not give a soft edge, and you have those backs chip a little bit before they go out to the routes, just to give Brock Purdy just a split second more time to get the ball off. I really like watching him. He has not got the strongest arm ever, but he throws that ball on time, and he throws a very catchable ball for his guys, and he's got playmakers. Obviously, George Kittle going down takes a playmaker away from him, but the Tonjes kid, when he was out, he played well, and he'll step up. So I think they've got to give Purdy some time, George. I really do. But can you imagine how Minnesota feels right now? Like Sam Darnold. Like, you got to be for Sam Darnold. Like, he came into the league with the Jets, and it was absolutely awful. And now Sam Darnold has taken the Minnesota Vikings to new heights last year, and now they didn't want him. They decided to go with J.J. McCarthy, which I just was never sold on the guy when he came out of Michigan. Now, maybe I'm wrong, but like Sam Darnold goes to Seattle, and they're the number 1 seed. He fits that place. He's got guys all around him. And just what are you thinking about if you're Kevin O'Connell at Minnesota right now, thinking, why did we let that young man go?
So, Parker, let's go a little farther with that, because that was the storyline going into that game in San Francisco, that there's always the chance that Darnold will choke.
Yep.
Well, if I'm San Fran, I am putting as much heat as I humanly can on him, because I do believe there's some of that in Darnold. I hate to say that, but history has proven that out some. And in the game 2 weeks ago, they couldn't get any pressure at all. They got nothing that gave him any reason to need to freak out. But boy, if I'm playing Seattle, I am sending Kelly, I'm sending you. Thank you.
I thought that was good, George.
Yeah.
No, I think you're right, because last year the Lions and the Vikings in the first round of the playoff, or not the Vikings, the Rams in the first round of the playoffs. That's what they did to Sam Darnold. You know, the seeing ghosts thing. I think that's what you got to do. But I will say, I think their offensive coordinator Clint Kubiak is a very smart guy. I think he'll anticipate that, and if they do blitz, I think they'll have a hot, which means, you know, an option for Sam Darnold to get the ball out quickly. So I think they'll be prepared for that. But on the flip side, if I'm San Francisco, I'm looking at the box score from the last time that they played, which was 2 weeks ago. San Francisco was 2 of 9 on third down, picked up 9 first downs compared to Seattle, who picked up 23. So I think what San Francisco is going to have to do is just be good on first and second down, so you're not putting yourself in these third and long situations. And I mean, they did not 173 total yards. So they just were not able to extend.
No, they
drives.
got nothing done.
Yeah.
So let me go to the last one. The Bears. The Bears.
The Bears.
So what do you think? Rams at Chicago. What does Vegas say?
Rams at Chicago. Golly, it's probably going to be kind of the same thing, George. They're probably going to make the Rams. Are they making the Rams the favorite?
3.5.
Are they really?
Yeah.
It's kind of amazing, George. It's amazing though what Caleb Williams. I think he's had 7 game-winning drives this year. Is that correct, Parker?
Yep.
7 game-winning drives. Like just that fourth down play he made the other day, and Kyle Shanahan's talked about it. I know that they're not playing. I know they're playing the Rams, but Kyle Shanahan talked about it when they played them a couple of weeks ago, talking about just what an athlete. Like he's big, he's physical, he's fast, he can make people miss, he can stay on his feet, and he can throw the ball. Now sometimes, you know, the throws that you would like to see him make that are easy throws, he misses them, but the hard ones, good gracious, like that one the other night. I don't know if I've ever seen where you're running to the left. It's a fourth down play. You've got to have this to win the game, and he puts that in such a spot where, and I know his guy was open, but still with him running that way, I couldn't have made that throw. Of course, I understand that. I knew my limitations, but like they have got something going there with Ben Johnson. I think Ben Johnson is a very confident coach. He's not very emotional on the sideline. He just sits over there, and you know in the back of his mind is like, I don't really care what happens. We're going to win the game. And that's kind of what he felt the other day in the Green Bay Packers game. That's probably kind of why he shook Matt LaFleur's hand like that, because he's like, it didn't matter what you're going to do. We're going to win anyway, Hoss. You know, so I think he's got that kind of – I think they got that kind of mentality. I think the weather could play a factor up there in Chicago if it gets really cold, because it's been really cold up there this year, and if the wind starts blowing. But I will say this, man, Matthew Stafford. He's old. He's played for 17 years or something like that. But you're talking about a ball that still comes off his hand pretty, and he still makes plays. I love watching that dude play because I've seen him play when he was at Detroit. He's tough as nails, and that throw he made to the tight end the other day for the game winner.
Oh my God!
That was the only. Yeah, that's the only place he could have put that ball, and that was a great throw, but it might have been a greater catch by the tight end. I mean, it's amazing what they do, and I enjoy watching Sean McVay's offense, because Bruce used to always tell us when we were in our meetings, if we want to go downfield, we got to use play action. He's so good at play action passes. He gets linebackers moving. He gets the front moving, and it gives Matthew Stafford some more time, and I enjoy watching him play the game and watching him deal, because he's dealing right now. So 3 teams that are still left in the NFC playoffs are from the NFC West. That shows you how good that conference is.
If I had a vote for MVP, Matthew Stafford would be my MVP. But going back to the Caleb Williams, think about that 4th and 8 throw that he made. That never would have happened without the false start, because the snap went over Caleb's head, and the false start was probably the best case scenario. But that was his big knock coming out of college, right? Kelly, he's so good at the out of structure stuff. He can create if a play breaks down, there's always a second play available because Caleb Williams is just that good, and we know his ceiling. It's been the in structure stuff that we've seen him struggle with, and there were a lot of throws that he had that he just didn't make when it was, design play action or what have you. So that's the stuff that Caleb Williams is going to have to continue to improve, and obviously it's going to be a big test versus the Rams, but I'm interested to see how they play in that cold. I really am.
It seems to me, Kelly, that the Rams are the only team that Seattle fears, because the Rams, for all of Seattle's great defense, the Rams have put up a bunch of points and should have won both games.
Right.
Didn't win both, but should have.
That's where Seattle LA's got those two edge rushers in Jared Verse and the young guy. They can rush the passer without having to bring extra dudes. And, when you can do that and you can put some pressure, and I will say this because you were talking about putting pressure on Sam Darnold. Every quarterback, George, other than probably me because I was too stupid to realize what was happening. But like when you pressure a guy and you start hitting him and you start putting pressure over and over and over on a guy, even Tom Brady and Peyton and Drew Brees and all these guys, Aaron Rodgers, you'll see tonight if they start getting pressure on him, he'll play totally different, because it's just when you get heat put on you and you don't feel like your offensive line can help you out and you're having to do things that you don't normally do, everybody changes their game, and it bothers a quarterback when he doesn't get able to sit back in the pocket. But I think you're right about the Rams, and if they can get past the Bears, I think that's who the Seattle guys fear, because those edge rushers can bring pressure, and they don't have to. And they got a really good defensive line. They don't have to bring more guys in to get pressure on guys, and that hurts people when you have to do that.
Okay, so that's where we're going with the NFL playoffs. The start times. Who plays when will get announced at some point tonight. We know San Fran, Seattle, Buffalo, Denver are the Saturday games. We know Rams at Chicago, and the winner of tonight's game against New England will be on Sunday. But at the moment, we don't have start times. We'll come back. We'll start the 4 o'clock with college football talk, and then your phone calls on the George Plaster Show. If you are paying too much for your health insurance, you know what? You need to contact the folks at Pancoast Benefits. Pancoast works with businesses and individuals to tackle the high cost of health insurance. Whether you're a business owner, large or small, self-employed, between jobs, or over the age of 65 and in need of a Medicare plan, Pancoast can help. They make understanding your benefits less difficult and more personal. So check them out today, pancoastbenefits.com, or call them at 615-292-3400.
Barlines is conveniently located inside the Omni Nashville Hotel across from Bridgestone Arena. Barlines is the perfect spot for Reds and arena concert fans year-round. Catch your favorite team on one of their 22 jumbo flat-screen HD TVs. Barlines offers their award-winning menu of delectable Southern-inspired dishes and handcrafted Tennessee libations. Their team takes pride in using locally produced foods and regional spirit vendors to create offerings that are uniquely Nashville. Mark at the Omni. Enjoy Barlines before and after Bridgestone events.
Nashville's best deals is bringing the flavor from 51 North Taproom, locally owned with scratch-made eats, 30 beers on draft, plus craft cocktails and mocktails. At 51 North, score $7 smash burgers all day and happy hour from 3 to 6 p.m. Plus all day Saturday and Sunday. Catch every big game at 51 North. Play darts or shuffleboard and bring the whole crew. Get 50% off a $25 gift card for 51 North now at 949thefan.com/deals. 51 North Taproom, craft beers, house burgers, local vibes.
Don't miss out on the OVC Men's and Women's Basketball Championships presented by United Fidelity Bank as it returns to the Ford Center in downtown Evansville from March 4th through the 7th. All session tickets are on sale now through each Ohio Valley Conference School's ticket office and at the Ford Center box office. Visit ovcsports.com/Evansville for more details, and be sure to be there to OVC it in person as the first entrance into March Madness and the NCAA tournaments are crowned.
At DePauw University, curiosity has no limits. In the College of Liberal Arts and Sciences, students ask bold questions and connect big ideas that shape tomorrow. Discover how thinking can take you anywhere. Learn more at depaw.edu.
Evan, Canty, and Michelle are unsportsmanlike.
Something seems amiss between the relationship of Harb and Lamar Jackson. I understand that nobody wants to blame either one of them for the lack of success they've been able to achieve since 2018. But at some point, something has to change in order to get a different result. And I think that the head coach is by far the easier to make a move.
Unsportsmanlike. Weekday mornings starting at 6 Eastern on ESPN Radio and on ESPN2.
This is Jerome from Birmingham, previously from Paul Feinbaum Show. Legend is next.
Most embarrassing performance in the history of the program. Somebody get me a plane to Michigan and see if we can get them to change their damn mind and take this coach off of our hands.
The Paul Feinbaum Show, weekdays at 3 Eastern on the ESPN app and on the SEC network.
Now, here's your latest Fox 17 Code Red weather report.
I'm Fox 17 meteorologist Brett Luna. We're off to a chilly start, but it's going to warm up some this afternoon with plenty of sunshine. The highs will be near 50. Tuesday, we get even warmer. We'll stay mostly sunny with highs near 60. And then by Wednesday night, early Thursday morning, we could see a little bit of light snow.
Your sports live here on the Game Nashville Sports Network.
Your sports live here. WBUZ HD3 Laverne. All around the world on the Game Nashville app. We are the Game Nashville Sports Network. ESPN 94.9. The Fan.
It's the George Plaster Show.
Your sports live here on 94.9 The Fan.
Time for our Saturday, brought to you by Apple Collision Centers. On Saturday, the Chicago Bears, beat the Packers in the playoff for the first time since when?
Oh, wow. We may be going back a ways, Kelly, because when the Bears won it all, they beat the Rams with Vince Ferragamo. They beat the Redskins, and they beat the Giants.
Yep.
So I don't think it's that. I think it's going back even before the world title year of 85, 86.
Are you really? Because I was thinking 85, but then you're absolutely right, because I remember those teams that you just said that. I can remember Jay Schrader playing up there when it was snowing. You may be right, George. I don't know what year that would be, though.
I can't wait to see this because I'm trying to think. It's not like the Bears have been in the playoffs a bunch. I just don't remember them beating the Packers. Show it to us. I don't know.
Neither of y'all were alive for this.
1941.
Wow. That's wild.
Nice picture there. Nice grainy looking.
December 14th, 1941. The good old days.
So if you look at that, the field looks about the same condition. Soldier Field has never been.
I wonder if their new stadium in Indiana will look better.
Yeah, well, we don't know about that yet. It doesn't sound like it's quite happened.
I can't believe that was even thrown out there.
So let's go to
a week after Pearl Harbor.
Wow.
Oh, all right.
Dang. That's right.
That really puts it into perspective right there, Parker. And you're a younger guy, but that was a pretty good get by you.
Oh, I didn't come up with this.
No, he didn't come up with it.
Oh, shocking.
85 years ago, which is the last time Oregon won a big game.
Go ahead and have your fun.
Yes.
Have your fun.
They've never won a big game.
Feel sorry for me.
So we have a national title game now set with Indiana and Miami. It feels like that this is a no-brainer, except And of course, all of you know what the except is, except for the fact that it's on Miami's home field. And by the way, I don't really know how you get around it when you award national title games to certain cities. It's happened before. Miami has won a national title in the Orange Bowl.
Happened twice before, right?
Yeah. So, Kelly, does this truly give Miami a puncher's chance?
Yeah, I think so. I think it helps. I think it helps when you're down there where you're from, and I think it does help. I think it can only help. You're going to have the excitement of the city, the community, and they get to have it at their place. And I do think that helps. I don't know. I think they're going to have to do kind of what they did to Ole Miss. And it's still, with that being said, Ole Miss still had a chance there at the end. And it's kind of you got to be happy for Carson Beck, because everybody's talked so bad about Carson Beck. And then when they needed him the most, he stepped up in the game on that last drive, and he scored the touchdown himself by running it in. And it's amazing if you watch that game, and that's kind of what Mario Cristobal wants to do. He wants to control the game. Well, they had 41 minutes of possession against like 18 or something of Ole Miss is in that game, and I think that's what they've got to do if they're going to stay in the game with Indiana. They've got to control the game. I don't think the coaching staff and I don't think the personnel from Indiana will allow them to do that. I just think Indiana's a juggernaut this year, and I think Kurt Cignetti's he's got a really good staff who teaches those kids the fundamentals. They understand situations. They put them in situations to be successful. But if you're Miami, I think it helps being down there, and I think Mario Cristobal is wanting to use his offensive line, Mark Fletcher, those guys to kind of gobble up that time again and keep Fernando Mendoza and the rest of that offense off the field.
So, Parker, here's the part that really kind of surprised me. So here's Indiana. They get this huge defensive play 30 seconds into the game, and before you can, say the end of the anthem, they're up 7-0.
Yep.
But Oregon comes right back and ties the game on a really good drive, and it didn't phase Indiana a lick.
No, and after the pick six, I kind of had an idea where this game was heading, because if you remember the play before that, when Oregon decided to return it out of the end zone, he got popped by the Indiana guy. That just set the tone. But it's, as quarterbacks, we're taught to have that short term memory, because if you linger too long on a play, it's going to cause you to end up making more mistakes. With Dante Moore, I thought he showed a lot of maturity in his first year as a starter, at least in Oregon, that after throwing a pick six, your first play of the game, you go and you lead a 14-play, 75-yard drive, and you score. But Indiana, I watched them very closely. Their offensive line, their running backs, their receivers, Fernando Mendoza, they all execute flawlessly. And when Oregon hands them 28 points off of 4 turnovers, it's game, set, match.
Fernando Mendoza, I think I'm right. I think he's had 4 incompletions in the 2 games that he's played. I think he was 10. Was he not 10 of 11 in the first game against Alabama?
He might have had 4 incompletions in the Peach Bowl.
Well, I know he was 17 of 20
I'll look.
in the last game. He
Yeah.
was 17 of 20, and I think he was 10 of 11. But, you're talking about consistency, George. You're talking about making a play. And even with that being said, that first third down that he had to get after Oregon goes down and they score and they tie the game, they look really good on the first 2 plays. And that third down play where he back shouldered the Surratt kid and he made a play on it, that was unbelievable. There's – the kid, if you're the defender, you got to think, there's nothing else I can do. You cannot there's nothing you can do with a perfect throw. I get that. I forget who said that. But when you're on a kid like that and they still make a play, like you're fighting an uphill battle, and that's the way that young man's been throwing. He threw an out route to the right side of the field one time where the Oregon defender was plastered all over him, and he threw it out. Yeah, he threw it all out in front of the young man. And I told my wife, everybody on. Before he broke. And all these scouts keep saying, well, he's robotic. Well, he's robotic. I get so sick of hearing about that stuff. I don't care if he's robotic or not. The game is about, if you're a quarterback, completing passes. And that's what that dude does. And guess what? He doesn't turn the ball over either. And when he gets in a bad situation, he's not the most athletic guy, but he's not going to turn the ball over, and he can run, and he can get you yardage, and he can get you first downs. It's like they've got him playing at another level, that coaching staff does right now, and it's pretty impressive to see.
So would
6
you
incompletions.
How many?
2 games, 6.
Wow.
Or no,
Crazy.
I'm sorry.
I thought it was 4.
5. You said
5.
4.
Okay.
5. Yeah. 2
it was 5.
against
Okay.
Alabama and 3 against Oregon.
So has
Wow.
he shown you enough to be the number 1 pick in the draft?
I think so. But all these guys are going to pick him apart, saying, well, he's going to be a statue when he gets in the NFL, and he's a robot. Well, I don't care anything about that. And they say if you just watch all these pregame things they do before the game, they talk about just how much of a student he is of the game and how many hours he spends of watching film and going over things with his teammates. It's pretty impressive to watch. And yes, I think they were talking about, like Mel Kiper talked about, like he thought Dante Moore was going to be the guy. I thought he separated himself from Dante Moore the other day. Now, Dante Moore may be a little younger, but he separated himself from that, and I think he's the number 1 pick of the draft. I really do.
Listen, Kelly, Dante Moore needs to come back to school because
I
he
agree.
showed some maturity. I would even say the same thing for Ty Simpson. I think they could both benefit from coming back to school because they're like Ty Simpson, when he gets pressured and blitzed, sometimes he doesn't know what to do. In the NFL, they're going to take advantage of that. He gets all big-eyed. Yeah, so I think he would benefit from coming back to school. I think Dante Moore would benefit. But after watching this game, Fernando Mendoza is a clear-cut number 1.
Clear cut, he got a lot of experience when he played at California. Now he's there. He's been in the ups and downs. He's a 1-star kid. Everybody's talked about that, but I think he separated himself the other day. And I think if you're an organization in the NFL, you feel good about his maturity and the coaching that he got from Kurt Cignetti and his staff. I think he's ready. And I'm with Parker. I think those 2 kids that he talked about should come back to college because I think they need it. I think they need some more experience of playing football.
So a week from Friday, the decision has to be made about where is the playoff going. Sankey and the SEC apparently want a 16-team playoff. Petiti, who I think has lost his marbles on this, wants a 24, which I would assume would extend until Valentine's. And yet I'm hearing that more and more people are open to this 24 plan. I don't get it.
Here's okay, so let's think about this. If you go to 24 teams, though, don't you have to go back to a 10-game schedule? Wouldn't you think
they're
that?
not going to do that.
I understand that they're not going to do that, but if you're going to go to 24 teams and you're going to have all these playoff games, don't you think you got to go back to 10? And then that takes money away. Everybody's going to get pissed off about that. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen.
And I haven't heard a lot of the particulars of a 24 because it sounds so stupid. I've paid very little attention to it. But if you're going to argue that argument, it feels like the college football season would have to start in late August, regular season. You would probably have to use that Army-Navy weekend, which is like around December 13th.
Yes.
As your first weekend. And to go to 24, I'm guessing they're saying the top 8 get a bye. 9 plays 24, 10 plays 23. I don't know. I mean, again, Valentine's comes in mid-February.
So when I saw this news about them wanting a 24, what I originally thought was they're proposing 24 because they ultimately want 16. So if they propose 24, then them agreeing on 16 doesn't seem as bad, which I don't think a lot of people wanted. It seems like more people are coming around on 16, but 24, it seems like he's buckled down on this idea because they agreed to go to 16, or the SEC and Big Ten say we could do 16 as long as you go to 24 the 2 years after that.
Kelly,
which is stupid.
A year ago, you felt like it went on too long and that people kind of got lost in it. Now that we've had a second year and we're getting a little more used to the rhythm of it, do you feel any better about that?
I do feel better about it this year. I don't know why. I will say this, though, the other night, and it's because they're not trying to go up against the NFL, which I get. I understand that, which is a good move on their part. But those semifinal games the other night on Thursday and Friday, they just didn't seem like they had much. I don't know. There was not that much anticipation. Like it didn't seem like college football is not supposed to be played on Thursday night. We get that they got the Thursday night games, they got Wednesday night games in Conference USA, and
Not
they got
supposed to be
Friday
played
night.
on what
I mean,
else? Monday night.
it's
no Monday night.
yeah, well, I can, but the national championships game has always been played on Monday night, and it to me. But Saturdays are kind of for college football now. For this year, it hasn't seemed as bad as it was last year. I was so ready for that to be over last year. It seems different this year. Maybe it's because I'm used to it. Maybe it's because we're used to it. But I'll say this. The other night when my wife asked me on Thursday, she was like, "Well, when do the college games play?" And I said, "Well, there's one tonight." There's no anticipation for me about that. Like, I just don't feel good about that. I don't know where you go from that, but it hasn't felt as bad as it did last year, George, because last year it was on my nerves.
It's one of the things I'm going to want people to kind of comment on. We're going to open the phones here in just a few minutes, and I kind of want some feedback on it because 16 I'm okay with. Frankly, I'd be okay with leaving it right where it is. 16 seems logical. 24 feels like one flew over the damn cuckoo's nest. And I don't get how you make that work, but I want to hear from some people on it.
But when you go to the 24, then you're getting more closer to, as you call it, the New World Order, George. Sorry.
Uh-oh.
The New World Order, where these NCAA Power 4 teams are going to split off and make this huge mega conference. I mean, that's what we're counting down, in my opinion. I don't know if that's going to happen. I don't know when that's going to happen. But these 24 teams, getting 24 teams into the playoff, that's where you're going to go next. It's going to be a mega conference of some sort.
Go ahead.
I was just going to say, is this how you guys feel that, we get done with conference championship weekend around, that first weekend of December, whether that, I think it was the second or third this year, and then they just take a month off before they start playing. So it's like they lose all the momentum that they had because people are so locked into college football, when it starts getting to rivalry weekend and the playoff fields being announced, and then they just take a month off. And it's like, so last year I forgot that, the national champion, and that should never happen. I feel like they should carry the momentum of their, start the playoff right after and keep the momentum of your sport.
Well, that's kind of what everybody's been talking about, George, because up until Indiana won, all the teams that had to sit, they had not won a game. In the last 2 years, they had not won a game. Indiana was the first who was able to sit, and then they won a bowl game to advance. So I think that's kind of the gripe from everybody.
I think TV's deal is, how do you do this where each game gets its own national audience, as opposed to if you go to 24, it feels like you regionalize. You've got one game on Mizlu, the other game on, I'm making up networks
Al
here.
Jazeera, Al Jazeera, yeah, absolutely.
You got one on Oxygen.
That's right.
How do you make that work? Because right now, each of these playoff games has its own national window, which is what I think it deserves.
I agree, but that's we've talked about it over and over, George. That's where it's going to go, and TV is the one driving, is the catalyst for this whole thing, and TV is going to tell them where they're wanting to go, and they're going to tell them how many teams we want in this thing. We can talk about Petiti and Sankey all we want to, but money drives this whole deal, and TV, ABC, ESPN is the driver. They're the ones in the driver's seat.
Okay, so let's open up the phone lines after the break. I would really like to hear some of your opinions on, okay, we're almost done with this playoff. Did you like it better than a year ago? Did you get more used to it? And how in the world would you support going to 24? I want to hear it. 615-759-9949. Again, 615-759-9949. Looking for red-blooded Americans. So you hit the phones, the George Plaster Show.
When I got my first car, my dad told me, keep the gas tank full and my number on speed dial. Now parents are telling their kids, save 615-242-9000 just in case. I'm Blair Durham. If you or someone you love is in a wreck, call us. We're here to get you the money you deserve.
Venture Express has been helping people in this area for more than 40 years. They're headquartered in Murfreesboro with over 30 years of dedicated fleets involving production, manufacturing, and corrugated experiences. They're an asset-based company with over 700 tractors, 4,000 trailers, and 800 drivers. If you need their help, dial them up 615-793-9500 or log on to ventureexpress.com. You've heard me talk about the putting zone. Well, guess what? It's now open, and it offers a revolutionary indoor golf experience featuring state-of-the-art putting surfaces designed to replicate real-world course conditions. It allows players of all skill levels to practice, compete in tournaments, and connect year-round. Go by and see them at 3040 Sidco Drive and tell them Plaz sent you. Are you looking for expert medical care in Nashville without leaving your home? Medical House Calls brings concierge-level health care directly to your door. Whether you need urgent attention, ongoing primary care, revitalizing IV therapy, or medically guided weight loss, our experienced providers are just a phone call away at 615-838-2375 or go online, medicalhousecalls.com. It's easy to say good things about the folks at Strike and Spare Family Fun Centers. Number one, I trust them with something that's near and dear to me, the Plaster and Friends Celebrity Bowling Night. But more importantly, I see the fun people have. They enjoy the bowling, they enjoy the camaraderie, and you will too. Come by any of their locations and get ready to have some fun. Around it, make it even better. You know what? They've got a staff that will make sure you have a good time. So don't wait. Go have some bowling fun at Strike and Spare, the official home of the 4th annual Plaster and Friends Celebrity Bowling Night.
ESPN Radio lives here. Your sports live here on ESPN 94.9 The Fan.
Okay, we are back. We're at Sports and Social, about to go to the phones. We're at Sports and Social because we got a big NFL playoff game tonight in Pittsburgh where it will be anything but balmy. It'll be cold as all get out, and you wonder if that causes the Houston Texans some problems. Either way, we're going to be here to watch the game. Hope that a lot of you will come out and be a part of the fun. Beautiful TV setup. If you have not been here before, Sports and Social in Green Hills Mall, you'll love it. Okay, got one line open, I'm told, at 615-759-9949. by the way, whatever you want to get into, as long as it's sports, we're good with. But I am curious some people's opinions about the proposal of a 24 team playoff that to me seems cuckoo. Tony in Nolensville, you're first up. Welcome.
Hello, George, Kelly, and Parker. It's always good to be the leadoff and kickstart things on this wonderful show. First of all, before I get started, I've heard through the grapevine the reason Parker follows the Oregon Ducks is he feels a connection to the Animal House show that he was he attributes himself to being either Otter or Flounder or maybe even Greg. But I was told he was more like Niedermeyer than anybody. Is that true?
And I was closer to Daniel Simpson Day, who had no grade point average. All courses are incomplete.
And what's that grade point average, George?
0.0. What was it he said? Have you seen your grades? I've seen your grades. They stink. One of the all-time classics.
I brought up the other day to George and Parker that I think we to amp up this show, and it's a great show, but take it to another level, is I'm in the early stages of putting together the GPSCC. And if you can't put that together, that's the George Plaster Show Caller Committee. And
oh, wow.
I'm going to work on getting Clay and Tyrone and 2 or 3 others, Eric and Frank. I think we might put a caller committee together, and maybe each week during the football season have one of us to be the caller committee participant on the college football pickings. And I think that would really amp up this show a little bit. What do you think?
I'm with you. Whatever you want to do, Tony. Hey, it's your world. It's your world, big dog.
I was flattered last week that Pokey and you put my name out there publicly that I could be a part of it. And I was just touched and flattered, as I told George, I just had it oozing all out of me that how much that I was sold up.
It had to be one of the real thrills of your life.
Right. Guys, now on the serious note, talking about sports a little bit here. Watching Indiana play like they did and seeing Mendoza, I think the Heisman committee got it right on who was the Heisman. The guy's phenomenal. In his interviews after the game, if you saw it, he is just a tremendously spoken individual. He's like a coach, the way he talks. He understands the game. He sees everything. He talks with just a solid attitude, making complete sentences, making everybody understand exactly what the game's all about. And it's really refreshing to see somebody like that, to be able to discuss as an adult, part of football, and helps you speaks of it in layman's terms a lot of times where people talk, understand it. And I really think it's really refreshing to hear him talk. And I think he'd be that gracious in defeat as they've been in winning. We don't know so far yet in defeat, but he really seems like a great got a great head on his shoulders like that. And speaking of winning, which y'all alluded to it earlier, and taking into consideration of Vanderbilt's basketball teams is 33-0, you throw a football team in there in regular season, not the bowl game. I know we lost it, but in regular season play right now, they're 43-2, and you got a baseball team that's highly ranked. And you're right, it's a fun time to be a Vanderbilt fan. But George, those seats in 3L and 3F I don't know why they don't get filled. Now, I mean, like I say, I'm not capable of walking all the way up there. I just think it's a lot of people are complacent from what's happened from the more sports things go on in this town, more things to do. That back in '92, when you had the championship team with McCaffrey and Elder and England and all them, I just think that those people are now doing other things. And then, as we all say, the comfort of sitting at home and watching on TV. An 8 o'clock game, a lot of people don't like an 8 o'clock game that you'll get back home at 11:30. All those things, I think, go into contributing why you don't see the complete sellout up in the rafters. That's my take on that.
Yeah, look, you might be right about it. I don't pretend to have the total answer. That's a picture from for those of you who are watching by way of podcast. That's a picture that I took Saturday during the LSU game, and both 3L and 3F in Memorial Gym looked like that, and it kind of surprised me.
Well, if you look in the section 2L or 2F, even back underneath the overhang, there's several seats in there as well. So I think it might be the timing and things of that nature. And before I get off here, I know you got callers. You had all talked about what's coming up with these bowl games in 24. I do find it interesting that the FCS can play a 2014 schedule, and they start right up. Now, their games are on campus. They don't have the bowl games to work with. But we've also talked about these bowl games are a lot of times they're empty. But I think if you incorporated certain bowl games, take your top 5 or 6 secondary bowl games and incorporate them into the playoff picture, I think you'll have a full crowds at those bowl games, as well as, the fans following the team. Or you take the bowl games, use them as the semifinals like they're doing all now, but if you're going to expand it, then go ahead and play the games on campus like the FCS does. A lot of people like these first-round games that were played on campus. And I think if you did that a second-round game, you might have that as well. So there's a lot out there, and it's a lot of meat on the bone that we all could chew on. But I think there's some ways that they could really incorporate at least the 16, if not the 24. Guys, I'm going to get off here. Talk to you later. Good show as always. And Parker, now we know your hidden secrets why you follow that O.
Tony, you're supposed to keep that a secret.
Tony, thank you.
The bad thing is Parker don't even know what Tony's talking about. He don't even know any of those guys.
Just smile and wave. Just smile and wave.
No.
Oh gosh.
I'll watch Animal House. I will.
Niedermeyer.
I'll add that to the list.
Dead Man. One of the great classics. Eric, line 2, what's going on today?
Hey, George, I was going to talk about the 2 of the playoff games. I was going to talk about the Chicago-Green Bay game on Saturday, then the Philadelphia-San Francisco game on Sunday. Just wanted to make some interesting observations, and after I get off, see if you guys agreed with me.
Okay.
First of all, about the Packers, of course, they also may be looking for another kicker. Missed 2 field goals and missed an extra point because he was before they acknowledged Mr. Reliable, but he really struggled Saturday. And I was kind of surprised that Matt LaFleur was throwing the ball as much as it was. Somebody made the point, which I agree with. You have that big a lead. Why are you not running the ball more and sitting on it instead of having Jordan Love continue to throw it? He wound up throwing 46 times, and they had a 21-3 halftime lead. I didn't understand that. But here's the thing. They were also talking about – somebody made the point about the fact Matt LaFleur has blown several games this year. If you remember, he blew this game. He blew the game a couple of weeks ago against Chicago, Saturday night game. He blew a 9-point lead in Denver. He blew, I guess it was a Sunday night game against where they tied the Cowboys at a 13-point lead. Early on the season, they lost when they were undefeated, had a 10-0 lead against Cleveland, gave up 13 short points to lose that game. And I believe there was another game he kind of blew. So if he had won some of those games he blew, who knows? He might have had maybe one of the top record, at least won the division. And they also pointed out the fact, of course, I don't know if it has anything to do with it, that he was on the staff of the Kyle Shanahan Atlanta Falcons team that blew the lead to the New England Patriots in the Super Bowl. So, and of course, he's going to negotiate the contract, and he'll probably get re-signed back. I don't think they're going to get rid of him, but that's just something I kind of thought I'd throw out there. And with the Bears, everybody's saying now, you got to start saying divine intervention, the Pope. That's what they were saying, because they had Pope jerseys and stuff, Pope for the game and everything like that because he's a big Bears fan, and that's why they won Saturday because of divine intervention.
The Pope is also a White Sox fan, and there's no amount of divine intervention that'll make that work. Yeah.
You're probably right, George. You're probably right. And George, Sunday about the Eagles 49ers game, and I just wanted to make some points about both A.J. Brown and Nick Sirianni. First of all, about A.J. Brown, it was interesting, of course, and I'm kind of not surprised he said after the game he kind of quickly dressed and left out of the locker room. But they were talking about the fact, at least I'll give Jalen Hurts and Saquon Barkley the fact that they were willing to take accountability. If there's issues with A.J. Brown, they're not going to say it. But I just think there's no way I believe you can bring A.J. Brown back to that team next year. You've got to trade him. I've heard people saying, well, he's going to come back to the Titans. I don't buy that. I believe he still has 2 years left on his deal. But, of course, the sideline below with Sirianni, one of them that's got to be gone. I think it's going to be A.J. Brown, but it's just to the point where I think the fans are probably going to be ready to move off him. But now as far as Sirianni, and this is what I wanted to make the points about him. Guys, I will die on this hill. I don't think Sirianni is that great of a coach. I think the Eagles a lot of times win in spite of him, and I'll use these examples to kind of make my points. If you remember, of course, the year they went to Super Bowl, the guy Shane Steichen, that's what I meant, was, of course, his offensive coordinator with that team, and, of course, they made it to the Super Bowl. The next year, of course, the offense struggled. They lost, I guess it was 5 or 6 or whatever it was, and wound up missing the playoffs. Then, of course, last year they had Kellen Moore. They got off to a slow start earlier. But then, of course, Kellen Moore with the offense, they get all the way to Super Bowl and win it. He leads the staff. And then, of course, they struggle again this year. And I think that the Eagles, of course, just win in spite of him. And it's 2 other things kind of why I'm kind of down on him, why I just – whatever they do, of course, their decision. They're probably going to bring another offense coordinator. Number one, Colin Cowherd made this point on the show today, but I think he's right. If you remember a couple of weeks ago, the San Francisco 49ers went and played Shane Steichen, the Indianapolis coach, and Indy. Indy gave them all they wanted. And, of course, if it hadn't been for late interception by Phillip Rivers, who, by the way, was a 4-year-old quarterback, they were an undermanned team too, but they almost beat the 49ers. This way, the Eagles, they were a way more talented team than the 49ers. The 49ers were so beat up with injuries on both offense and defense, and they still couldn't find a way to beat them. That, to me, is an indictment on Sirianni. The other thing, George, I want to say is this. One of the things that kind of turned him off on him, and I believe it was a game last year, and I don't remember the opponent. I know it was a home game. He brought his kids in after the game to the press conference because he didn't want to take heat from the media because I think it was a game. I can't remember if they won. They may have won. I don't remember if they lost. But he brought his kids in, which I thought he did that deliberately so he wouldn't face some grilling after, I guess, some questionable calling the game at home. That's why I'm kind of out on Sirianni. I think that the Eagles win in spite of him. I just don't think that he's that great of a coach because everybody wants to compare him to some of the greats and everything that he wins. I think a lot of times it's the owner, the general manager, and whoever they bring the offensive coordinator helps him look good because he has trouble, I think, at times just whatever needs to be made as far as adjustments during the game and all that type of stuff. So I just don't think the guy's that great of a coach. Guys, I'll get off. Y'all take care and we'll talk to you again soon.
So let me take this. Really interesting stuff he put out there. If Sirianni came on the open market right now, would there be the buzz around him that there is on John Harbaugh?
No. I don't think so. Would you?
Well, doesn't that sort of confirm what Eric thinks?
Probably, yeah. I don't know, George. Howie Roseman, he does a really good job of putting players in that organization that can play. And he is a great decision maker when it comes to guys, and he is great about moving on from certain people. Whether they fit the mold, if they don't fit the mold, he's not scared to do what it needs to be done. Now, I don't know anything about Sirianni and his, I know he was here. I don't know anything about his coaching style. You watch it. I think he's done a good job of molding the team around what Jalen Hurts does. Being a great coach, I don't know. It just seems like year after year after year, there's always something. And they were able to get it right last year and win the whole thing. But it just seems like there's always an underlying issue. And when it really boils down to it, when you have so many underlying issues, then that's kind of a head coach's responsibility and a head coach's job to figure that stuff out, and it seems like there's always drama up there. So I don't think he commands what John Harbaugh does. No, and I don't think people put him in that light of the same coaching category.
If you were to ask me, I'd say John Harbaugh, just because he's done it longer. He's been the head coach of Baltimore for 18 years, and I think he commands the respect of the locker room. Nick Sirianni, I'm sure I don't know. I would just have a better feeling with Harbaugh.
Clay is next. Clay, how you doing?
Guys, how we doing?
Good.
Right off the top, I like to recognize Parker so he feels important.
Thank you, Clay.
Parker, I want your comments on your green machine the other night.
Well, I did pick Indiana to win, so I saw this coming. I just didn't see it coming in that fast.
Whoa, wait a minute. Where did you pick Indiana to win?
I picked Indiana last week. I said it on Monday.
I don't remember that. Kelly, do you remember that?
Don't ask me to go back and find it because that's going to take too much time and work.
I actually do. I want to bust his chops,
Kelly.
but I actually do remember him saying that.
I didn't
expect George.
Unfortunately, it to be a guillotine-style execution, though, Clay, if that's what you're asking.
Kelly, do you think Parker could have done better than 3 turnovers if he played in that game?
Clay, you're asking an awful lot from that young man. I don't know.
I think I'm going to say no. Quarterback than William.
Oh,
George,
absolutely.
Thanks.
I wanted to touch on your playoff thing. I agree with you. I think 24 is really stupid. I think 16 is a real possibility. I know Clark Lee talked a lot about that when he basically probably knew, he's probably kicking, but he probably knew that Vanderbilt was not going to get in. The biggest thing to me is the Tulanes and the James Madison, teams like that. I think they just need to have their own playoff. Wouldn't they have enough teams to where they could do that?
Absolutely.
Yeah. I mean, we put together a mock 12-teamer. It's not that hard to do. I don't know what it is they're waiting on.
Yeah. As far as Vanderbilt's, what's coming up in their basketball, I think they've got one of the tougher 3-game stretches coming up that they're going to have this season, going to Texas, playing Florida at home, and then going to Arkansas. To me, the Texas game, and I was shocked that they beat Alabama. But if, we see that Texas, then it's going to be a real dogfight. I do think they're very athletic, and they're big inside. And that's one thing that I think could make this tough for Vanderbilt. But this team just seems to, first of all, they're very well coached. But second of all, this team really likes one another. And they don't care who gets the credit. And they have guys that can go, for 25 or 30 on any given night, and probably 2 or 3 of those. I think Okereke is really playing solid basketball right now. They're getting 10 or 12 points a game out of him. And somebody told me today, I don't know if that's true, but somebody told me he was a walk-on at Cornell. Is that true?
That I don't know. What I do know is that they seem to have hit on an unusually high number. I mean, there are 2 or 3 that are back from a year ago, but the rest of that group is new, and it appears that all of them have got some level of usefulness because he's going about 12 deep.
Yeah, and, Frankie Collins, obviously that would help if they get him back fairly soon. I don't really know when he's coming back. But, George, don't you think, let's say Vanderbilt, finishes really high in the SEC, does well in the SEC tournament, goes at least to the Sweet 16 in the NCAA tournament. Don't you think Candace she just locked up Clark Lee, and I think maybe she's going to have to consider doing the same thing with Byington.
Yeah. I mean, who knows what's coming in this thing? The dark cloud to me is that what's Kentucky going to do? Because they're not going to stand for this for long. And, Vandy goes up there at the end of February. And who knows? I mean, it's early to be yapping all this kind of stuff. And personally, I hope Mark Pope gets it done at Kentucky to a certain level. But I look at them right now, and I don't see the kind of Kentucky talent that I think we're used to. So just file that one away. I got to run. Clay, I appreciate your call.
Great show as always.
Thank you. Let me get one more before the break. Jeff in Murfreesboro, welcome.
How's it going, George?
Good.
First of all, that they can do 24, George. Division III has 40 teams. Division II has 32. So they can do 24 if they want to. They can do it if they want to. They might have to cut some games in the regular season. But if Division II and Division III have more than them, then they can do it. And they have 40 teams, and they get it done before, a week before, whatever it is, than the other ones do. So
But there's a lot more monetary considerations on this level than there are at those levels.
I mean, there might be. I'm not saying there's not, but I mean, what are we going to do? Reduce it to 8? And they're not going to reduce it. They're going to expand it. So this stuff of stay. I guess they can stay at 12 if they want to. But if they want to do 24, they'll do 24. They'll do it if they want to. If they don't, then that's up to them. I really don't really matter to me. I mean, I'm glad the SEC is not in the finals again at 3 years in a row. SEC, they're dead. They're finished. They're not going to be the king like they used to be. And I love every minute of it. First of all, and Georgia also, Kentucky's talent, they've been banged up most of the year. Clayton just didn't play the other night against Mississippi State. They got behind by about 12, 14, come back and won. Lowe hurt his shoulder again. I don't know if he's going to come back. He might miss a few games. Somebody said might be the rest of the season. They do have talent. It's just been banged up and beat up. It's basically what it amounts to. So, I mean, they're still good. Missouri beat them, yeah, I'll give you that. They played better than them. They're not as good a shooting team as they've been in the past, and their defense sometimes laps. But they're still going to be there, hopefully. They'll be there at the end of the season and everything. And so that's all I'm going to say about that. And, Vandy, yeah, they're undefeated now, but, what matters, George, is March. It don't matter right now. You got to get it done in March. And if you do it then I'll give you props. Until then, don't come in here and talk this undefeated distance because you ain't played nobody like those before. So y'all have a good one, guys. See you and Parker Brothers. Have a good one. See you.
Okay, we'll go to the break on that. We're all decidedly better off for having heard Jeff tell us exactly what goes on in the world. We can do a 24-team playoff because we can do it. Wow. Thanks for sharing that. This is the George Plaster Show.
When I got my first car, my dad told me, keep the gas tank full and my number on speed dial. Now parents are telling their kids, save 615-242-9000 just in case. I'm Blair Durham. If you or someone you love is in a wreck, call us. We're here to get you the money you deserve.
As the trusted premier custom home builder in Middle Tennessee, Donley Timmons has over 20 years of experience in the industry. Whether you're looking to build your dream home or renovate your current home, their team will ensure that every client and every remodel is unique, luxurious, and completed on time within budget. Founders Dustin Timmons and Joey Donley have over 25 years of construction experience in the Nashville area. Together, they have completed projects in Forest Hills, Oak Hill, Green Hills, Franklin, and Brentwood. Dustin and Joey believe that communication is the most important aspect of all construction projects. Therefore, they personally manage each project themselves and are involved in job site activities on a daily basis. Their commitment to quality and integrity has earned them an outstanding reputation among their clients. Contact them to set an appointment for a free consultation or to view some of their completed projects. Give them a call at 615-456-7983 or log on to DonleyTimmons.com.
If you are paying too much for your health insurance, you know what? You need to contact the folks at Pancoast Benefits. Pancoast works with businesses and individuals to tackle the high cost of health insurance. Whether you're a business owner, large or small, self-employed, between jobs, or over the age of 65 and in need of a Medicare plan, Pancoast can help. They make understanding your benefits less difficult and more personal. So check them out today, pancoastbenefits.com, or call them at 615-292-3400. And individuals to tackle the Sports and Social at Green Hills Mall is the new home for our Football Night in Nashville promotion. Their food is terrific. Their TV setup looks like a racing sports book in Vegas. And if you're a sports fan, you can't beat it. Starting September the 4th, we'll broadcast from Sports and Social every Thursday night. There's Papa Shot, great football, and the chance to win a beautiful Mikey's Motors golf cart. See you at Sports and Social in Green Hills Mall.
The George Plaster Show.
Your sports live here on 94.9 The Fan.
Okay, we are back. I guess we'll go with a caller first. And I think that's Bob in Antioch. Bob, are you there?
I am. I have a couple of Predator questions, if you don't mind.
Sure.
First of all, I went to both of the games this weekend, the Saturday game against the Blackhawks and yesterday's game. Did you go to both of those games?
I went to Saturday night, was incredibly disappointed because they got absolutely nothing done. And about the time you want to write them off, they then give you a really good performance last night against the Caps.
Right. Well, that's one of my points. The crowd, I thought, Saturday was excellent. I think it would have exploded if they had scored. Last night, however, I was extremely disappointed in the crowd. It was a tight game. The Predators were, probably playing over their heads a little bit. And at the last 5 minutes, and it's particularly the last minute, it was almost like there were crickets in there. Nobody was making much noise. They weren't standing, etc. And I wondered if you had heard anything about that from last night's game.
Not necessarily last night. Look, it's been quieter the last year and a half when you're not winning. The other thing is the back-to-back home games are tough for people. You got a Saturday night and then a Sunday night. I don't really know. I wasn't there last night. Numbers-wise, what did it look like?
It looked to me probably like maybe 13, maybe 12 and a half, 13. It was a decent crowd. It wasn't great, and there were an awful lot of Capitals fans, which really surprised me. And you're talking about the back-to-back games. Also, with this compact schedule, they play tomorrow night, so that will be 4 home games in 6 nights, and that's. Well, I have one more Predator question too.
Sure.
What do you think? Well, it's actually in 2 parts. What do you think the Predators will do at the trade deadline if they're in about the same position they're in now? And then what do you think they should do? And I'll listen off air.
It's a great question because they've got to, Barry Trotz has got to figure out, okay, how legit is getting in? Because as you know, they got about 4 or 5 teams bunched that all could get in that 8th and final playoff spot. Kelly, obviously, I want it to be them, but the question is, do you sacrifice short term for the long term? And that's a really good question.
Yeah, and I don't. That's what every organization gets down to when you're in this situation, George, and hockey's a little different because you may have a chance to get in, but do you put everything into that, or are you thinking long term? So I don't, that's what Barry Trotz has got to be thinking. That's what the organization has got to be thinking. Do we think we can get in this thing? And if we do, can we make a run at it? Which I don't know. George, just listening to you and just, listening kind of through the tea leaves, I'm not sure that they've got that, but just like you said, when you go out and you play like they played one game and then come back and you don't expect much from them, and then they go doing that. So you just never know about professional athletes and professional sports sometimes. But that's the question I think everybody's wondering: are we going to do it now, or do we need to lurk long term? So
get the Ouija board out.
Yep.
Let me say hello to Dr. Wendy Toohey, who is on the line with us from the Dr. Gill Center. Dr. Toohey, Happy New Year to you and your family.
Happy New Year, George. How are you doing?
I'm good. I want you to talk a little bit about the level of listening that you all try to do when somebody comes in and clearly they're in pain. And in a lot of cases, they've almost given up and said, this is just the way it's going to be.
Yeah. Well, I think listening is key because I have to really understand where a person's coming from, and everyone's story is unique. So in listening, it allows us to find out, first of all, I have them describe their pain. What are they feeling? Where is it in their body? If a 10 is the worst, how bad is it? And what are all of the other things that they've tried before that haven't worked? And of the things they've done, has anything given them the relief? And is there any position or anything at all that's even taking the edge off of their pain? Because those can give me key points as to how I can help them when they're here in the office. I have one other thing to say, because I had a patient this morning, and it was sad because she was 78, which isn't old, but a lot of my patients, when they get to this age, and she was one of them, the doctors just said, your spine is a mess and there's nothing we can do. You just have to deal with it. And I am never going to tell somebody that. I mean, we have curated amazing therapies for people just like this woman. And is that not appalling to hear that kind of thing, that someone would be treated in that way? So yeah, they're not going to do surgery on her. So, what are the options? So we have lots of options for people who, especially if they've been told that nothing can be done. I don't buy that. There's always something that can be done.
So I want to throw this out here. If you're out in the listening audience, and whatever the level of pain is or the injury, these folks are going to do everything they can to try to help you. Dial them up at 615-882-4838. Again, 615-882-4838. Dr. Toohey, thank you. I know you're doing great work trying to help people kind of steer through life.
Yeah, absolutely. It's about helping people live their best life, for sure. Thank you, George.
I love what y'all are trying to do. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year. Thanks for having me.
Now, Kelly, living proof that pain can go away. Parker, share with Kelly.
Whoa, George. Wow.
The one I'm the most proud of is the one I didn't really put out there, but said I was worried about.
And
remember
that was
San Francisco. I said, there's just something about Philly I don't trust.
So why didn't you bet it?
I just didn't,
George, you're on a heater right now, George.
A heater.
The Carolina one was at least 3 too many.
Yeah.
Vegas had that spread too large.
10.5 is a large spread in the NFL.
Yeah. Chicago, we were lucky. Jacksonville, maybe unlucky. New England beat the crap out of them.
Mm-hmm.
What I can't figure out with the Chargers is, why is Jim Harbaugh allowing Justin Herbert to get beat up? I don't get it. Tonight,
I don't either, George, because he's a quarterback. Don't understand it.
Tonight, yeah, I'm letting all the pundits sway me a little. This is going to be a hell of a football game. rough, tumble, something in the 20 to 16 range. It's not going to be real high scoring. Kelly, I'm going Pittsburgh. And with that, we got to run. So say goodbye. I'll be 8-3 by tomorrow. Parker, good luck to you in Oregon.
Thanks, and good luck to your Atlanta Braves, George.
See you soon.
Now, here's your latest Fox 17